welcome back to our third episode of Business Like Breeding. Another lovely spring day in Dorset, nice and windy. And we're back with James here today and this lovely group of heifers behind me. And the decision we had 140 heifers in total here, and we've worked out we need 100 to make the replacement number correct. But actually what we're going to do is we're going to breed them all now and get them all to calve in, hopefully all of them to calve in in about a year's time. But what we want to do today is address the question is how many of this crop of heifers do we want to get replacements from for the subsequent generation. So some of the things we need to consider are, how does the genetic merit of these animals compare to the adult herd? Am I going to use sex semen in these heifers? Am I going to use sex semen in the adult herd? And do I like the idea of maximising beef output from the herd? And as ever, what sort of contingency do I want to put in? But firstly, James, you'll have a pretty good idea of your top performing cows that you might like to get replacements from. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I suppose historically we focus fairly heavily on the heifers, first and second lactation animals. But as you rightly said, we're probably missing out on some of our best potential genetics in the older proven animals. And this is where we're expecting some help from you to drill down into the figures and pinpoint how best to make our more rapid genetic progress. Where we're at.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, that's great. So let's not forget, in the adult herd, these are proven animals, so they're doing what it says on the tin. For these heifers, we've just got some predicted information based on their pedigree and parentage. But let's have a look in a minute at some of the genetic information we do have about the animals on the farm. And any farmers that do milk record will have access to this information. And with a bit of help from us, we can help you look at that and compare the different generations and start working it out. So that's what we'll have a look at just now. So any farmer milk recording, as I said, will have access to this information. So I've used an index called an autumn calving index just for the simplicity, and it would be appropriate for a batch calving herd. We're going to talk about which index James decides on in another episode, but this will do for now. And what we've created is called a box and whisper plot, which basically shows for each generation, third lactation and above, second, first, in-calf heifers, and the ones that we've just seen in the field. The majority of animals lie within a box, and what we call the whiskers show the range of the index, the autumn calving. So the range of genetic merit is shown by the two dots, top and bottom. So we can see that as we would hope, generally over the generations, as animals are getting younger, the genetic merit is improving. We've got a very large spread in the in-calf heifers. There may be a story behind that. As we have cows in milk, we probably have a slightly higher reliability of the figures. These are becoming more proven animals, but we can see there's a huge range in the older cows. And first and second lactation, where James likes to concentrate his breeding on for replacements out of the milking herd, the range is quite large, and certainly some of these first lactation and second lactation animals are looking like they may be better, certainly well above the middle point or the average of the heifers that we're about to breed. So it's very logical to think about breeding some replacements from these better cows that are actually in the milking herd, and even some of these older cows. And equally, some of these much poorer animals down here, which probably James and his herdsman Gary will be aware of. Certainly, really, we don't want to get replacements from these. These we want to be breeding to beef. If we look at another way of looking, if we just wanted to help us look at the individual animals, we can see again we've got the heifers that are going to the bull, the in-calf heifers, and the milking cows. And all I've done here is plot them in a series of dots with increasing index. So these are the better cows, the worst cows, the best heifers at the top, the worst heifers. You can see there's a range here. And it's just quite useful because if we wanted to focus on an individual animal, we can click on one of the dots and the animal will come up. So it's just another way of looking at it, many ways of doing that. So that should help us make decisions about which animals we'd quite like to get replacements from, but more importantly, probably which ones that we really don't want to of these older cows. So that will help in our discussion that James and I are going to have about breeding policy going forward. We're also going to have to bear in mind that although we might like replacements from some of these older cows, they have to produce these calves early on in the calving period, so we have a nice batch that we can rear together. Okay, so thank you very much, James, and join us next time when we're going to be having a discussion and starting to think about some of the breeding objectives that you have for your herd. So we'll see you next time.